Hey, welcome to the Black and White Table Talk show that pulls up a chair for people in the stripes and asks the questions nobody wants to ask until the game's already over. We've got Gerald Johnson tonight with us, multi sport referee. Gerald's been doing this for um, a long time. I'm gonna let him give you your. I'm gonna let you give us your resume. I call him a resume. And man, you've seen a lot of things transition, shift, culturally, just so much, man. You're an educator, you're a teacher. So we got a lot of different stuff I want to unpack with you. This is the first of what I'm sure is going to be many episodes with you. We just talked to your wife. She was on the show. Phenomenal. You're great. I'm ready to I'm ready to listen, man. I'm ready to learn. And if you would, Gerald, just introduce yourself. Give me, your resume and everything like that, if you don't mind. Welcome, Gerald.
All right. Thank you, Kai. My name is Gerald Johnson. I live in the Dallas Fort Worth area now. I've been officiating one sport or another for, well over 30 years. I started in college. I refereed basketball, umpired baseball. At this point in my career, all I do is volleyball now, but that takes me year round. Soon as the club season is over, it's time for high school, junior high, and college to start. And when that's done, club season is rolls right in there. So there's you got to kind of build in those breaks. But right now, I am the officials representative for the North Texas region for USA Volleyball, and I've been a member of the Texas Association of Sports Officials, TASO, and Professional Association of Volleyball Officials, PAVO.
Wow. Wow. Busy. You are busy, huh?
Always.
How did you work it in when you were doing? So you did baseball. Now there's a big difference because when I asked my softball officials, do they do baseball? They say heck no. When I ask my baseball officials, do they do softball? They're like no way.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? I mean, what to us to me? Which one do you do? I mean, I know one has a bigger ball. You know what I'm saying? And it's an
Yeah.
underhand and all of that. But I mean, as far as officiating is concerned.
For me, baseball was the very first sport that I officiated, and my dad kind of was a sports official as well. He got me involved in umpiring baseball, so I think I umpired my first little league baseball game when I was like 14. I couldn't even drive.
Wow. Wow.
So I think I did a few games when I was 14 that summer and everything, but I kind of let it go because once I got to high school, you're playing varsity sports and everything. You don't really have time for any of that. And then I picked it up again
Oh,
when I got to college.
oh,
But baseball was like one of my first loves. I mean, that was the first like team sport that I ever played
okay.
as well. So I was always into baseball. I mean, softball didn't had no relevance to me until I think I was in college and playing intramurals.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So did you umpire softball too or just baseball?
Oh, just baseball. It's too difficult to do both because both seasons are going at the same time. So it's you just had to choose one or the other. And so when I was in college, I would go from volleyball, started in August, and my season pretty much was done by October. And then basketball season started. And here in Texas, basketball went all the way till February ish into January, February. But baseball season started starts in February, like right around Valentine's Day, and that would carry me all the way till the fall when volleyball started again. So it was always a volleyball, basketball, baseball rotation for years.
Wow. 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 So 14, how did you handle that match? I mean that game. What do you remember, kind of what was going on? I mean, like, did you know the sport? Did you? I mean, you had played baseball, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, I mean, was it hard for you to officiate to umpire that match? Do you
Oh,
remember?
to umpire baseball? No, I'm the hardest part is actually changing your perspective and learning the mechanics of like how to position yourself. And it's like with any other sport, with volleyball and basketball, where am I supposed to be standing? What gives me the best angle to see the play the best that I can? Of course, really improving your rules knowledge. Um, I was always kind of able to kind of get along with people, but sometimes, even that, just dealing with different types of people and the mechanics of where you're supposed to be. Um, that was probably that's the hardest part always.
So, I mean, sports has been a part of your life for, I mean, you just remember your dad doing it. He umpired baseball too. Did he do other sports?
Um, I remember I'm umpiring baseball mostly, but as a kid, my father was a police officer, and he was actually the coach on the police basketball team. So I've been in the gym since I was like maybe 3, 4 years old, watching him and those guys, going through the basketball practice. And I'll be on the other end when the basketball is about as big as I am, and I'm trying to throw it up there. Yeah, I'm trying to shoot a ball or whatever. So being around sports has always been a part of my life. I even go to my grandparents' house, um, you walk in the door, the Cubs game was on, baseball game, because I grew up just outside of Chicago, so the Cubs always played in the afternoon. So you go by the house, there's a game on, Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's always a game. So
So, what did you said you stopped for a little bit and then you picked it back up in college? Did you do basketball well, volleyball came a little later, right?
volleyball and basketball came when I got to college. And actually I picked up all three pretty much full time when I was in college because that was my part-time gig.
Yeah.
So after when I transferred to, well, it's East Texas A&M now, but when I transferred to that school my sophomore year, that's really when I picked it up full time, and it was better. I enjoyed that way better than maybe doing the student work on campus or whatever, as far as your grants or whatever, or working at Walmart or McDonald's or anything. Um it was much more enjoyable. I got paid more, didn't have to work as much. And so luckily for me, my parents actually paid for my rent and my tuition, and I paid for everything else officiating sports.
Right.
So all my books, my labs, my food, my gas. I mean, car insurance. I mean, everything else came from me officiating officiating sports. And I tried to convince a lot of my friends and everybody, come on out here and do this thing because I always had cash. I was never broke in college because I was always on the field going to do a game, and I always had a check coming in.
Right. Right.
So
I mean, and I think I was hoping that that would be one of the lures to get younger kids to do it. You know what I mean? It's really good money, for a younger kid. For us, even, I mean, it's good money, right?
yeah,
But
oh
for
yeah,
someone who's 18, 19, 20, 40, $50 an hour, that is great money,
hmm I
make your
tell
own.
kids all the time, hey, if you're done playing ball in college, start officiating. I mean, it is the best part time gig you can have. You can work it around your class schedule. You pick the days you can and cannot work. And so I always made it a point, as much as I possibly can, I took all morning courses. I was done by noon. So if something came up and they needed somebody to go do a game on a Thursday at 3 o'clock, hey, I'm your man.
You were raising your hand, weren't you?
Oh yeah, I put it out there. Hey, I'm done. Hey, by noon, I'm done with my day.
So did you ever run into any situations in baseball? I mean, I mentioned, just the amount of violence, and, you see all these viral videos nowadays.
Mhm.
I mean, like, it's crazy, right? I mean, did you have anything like that happen?
There were a couple of instances where I've had some stuff that was directed towards me, where I like, you know what, I'm out. Ball game. I packed up my stuff and I left. And but that was very, very rare. And I think the only sport that actually happened in was a couple of times in baseball, with some adult leagues. Um, with the youth, most of the time I have had some interactions with coaches or whatever. I've never had to throw a kid out of a game. It was always a coach or a parent or somebody that we had to remove from the game, but never ever had an issue with a kid ever.
See, to me, man, I think you're such a personable, likable guy. I'm like, how could you ever have a problem? Like, who, like, why are they questioning balls and strikes with you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't know, but I, so you never had a parent or a coach kick dirt on your shoes or anything like that, or start cussing you out after an out safe call?
Oh yeah, I've had that happen before, and that's why I said, when the I have had to have parents removed. I've had to have coaches removed because I threw them out the game. And there was only one time that I really just I said I'm out, because the coach of the team couldn't control his players or whatever, and and then they get the fans all riled up. So I say, you know what? Since you can't control this, I'm gonna control this. So I'm gonna call the ball game, and I'm taking my stuff and I'm leaving. And that's exactly what I did. And
So
so
did you?
they actually had to have a hearing, and the commissioner, and they talked about what kind of happened there. It was like, yeah, I don't blame you for leaving. I'd have left too. So
So you felt unsafe, basically,
I,
pretty
I
much.
did feel unsafe, but that was only one time out of 30 plus years of officiating.
So basketball typically seems to be something that is deteriorating, right? I mean, over
Hmm.
time. I mean, do you think parent behavior has stayed the same, gotten worse, or gotten better over your time of doing this in baseball?
I will say, over parents' behavior has deteriorated to some extent over the years, but the area where I see the most issues, where I've always had the most problems with parents, have always been at the younger ages.
Mm.
We're talking, say 13, 14, and younger.
Yeah.
I've had more parent interactions, coach interactions, and stuff like that, where we've had to have people removed from the facility or the field or whatever than any other age group. And so I think some of it is some of the parents, um, they don't know the rules, so they're still, in their mind, they're still using the rules from when they played little league or they were playing AAU or whatever. And it's like, you know what, that was 20 years ago. The rules have changed significantly since then.
A little different.
uh and
If they ever played, right? I
if they
mean,
ever played, and then some of them want to relive their glory days through their kid. and everybody thinks their kid's going to go to the NBA or play the MLB or now play in the one of these professional volleyball leagues. I'm like, you know what? Your child is 10 years old. They're just now learning how to dribble a ball or throw it.
And
They don't
swing a
even know
bat.
if they yeah. So they're still learning. So um I have seen more issues with I've always had more issues with parents at the younger ages than I have at the older ages because by the time these kids get to late junior high, high school, you've kind of weeded out the people who are not serious about the game or whose talent isn't at a certain level.
Right, right. It's really interesting. I'm reading this book. It's called Changing the Game. Unbelievable book. And this guy says that in the past 30 years, there've only been 25 kids that have played in the Little League World Series and made it to MLB. 25.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
I can. I can because you think about these little league kids, they're 12, 13 years old. These like some of these kids are multi-sport kids. Some of these kids are they're talented in baseball, but their love is hockey or football or basketball or something like that. And they take off and have a pretty good, high school, college career in these other sports. And even to get to the MLB, I mean, play sports professionally, I mean, that's tough. I mean, you have to be super, super talented. So
Man,
I
it's
can believe that.
yeah, I mean it's the 1% league basically, right? I mean, we've got probably 8 million kids playing baseball, and only what several hundred or 600 are going to play in the league, 500 maybe.
Yeah.
It's just they're minuscule numbers, man. So
Yeah.
it's to get there, you have to have quite a bit of luck, quite a bit of skill, and a lot of other stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So did you prefer to do baseball, G? I call you G. I'm sorry, man. Everybody
It's all good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you prefer baseball or over those three sports if you had to pick one?
At this point in my career, I'm all in on volleyball.
Yeah.
I actually hung up my uh baseball umpiring cleats and my chest protector and face mask. I retired those well over a decade ago. Yeah, it's been that long. It's probably closer to 15 years ago. I think the last time I umpired a baseball game was in 2013, maybe 2014,
Um,
and I haven't looked back. I'm all in on volleyball now.
do you miss it?
I don't miss baseball because I still play baseball.
No.
I still playing, so I'm still around the game, but I just don't umpire the game anymore.
Was there something
It's
that caused you to leave it in particular, or
I think it was just time. I think it was just me. I got to a point one year I woke up one morning and usually when baseball season in February starts cranking around, I was always baseball season's getting ready to start. Here we go. And then one year I didn't have that fire.
mm,
And so I was like, you know what? I I think I'm done umpiring baseball and that was it. I haven't looked back, but at the time I had been umpiring baseball for 20 something years
wow,
at that point.
wow, that's a good length of time
Yeah.
to be doing that.
Yeah.
So what about basketball? Did you how did you get started in that and do you, did you stop doing that too, right?
I stopped doing that 2012 was the last year I refereed a basketball game, and that was the same year I actually got involved in USA Volleyball. Um, there was some stuff going on in Texas at the time between with our basketball chapter and our officiating association, and I just didn't believe in the direction that our basketball chapter was going. So I said, I'm not going to put my money behind something I did not believe in.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting there thinking, okay, so I'm not doing basketball this season. I got to find something to do this winter to kind of make up that gap. And so I was like, let me try USA Volleyball again. And so here we go.
Yeah, so once you get bitten by that volleyball officiating bug, man, there's nothing like it, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so you did rec basketball, rec baseball, and I don't know if those sports do they take care of the officials the same way that volleyball does? Do you think?
I think, like with a lot of other places, it depends on where you go. There are some facilities and some institutions that will take care of you, and then there's some others you'd be lucky if they give you a glass of water.
All right. Right.
So it always depends on who's running the tournament and what facility you're at.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So can you tell me about the different cultures with the officials? Like, did you sense one was more or less supportive, or the cadre was trying to improve, or can you give me your thoughts around those three different the cultures, at least those three sports?
the officiating culture is always a tight knit one because once you're in it, you're in it. And so I know for baseball, the group of guys I was around, the chapter I was in, we were always, working to get better. We'd have clinics. You always had somebody who's looking to get to, doing Division 1 college. There's a few guys who are have minor league or major league umpiring aspirations. So we were always working to improve. Basketball's the same way. You got camps where they're videotaping you and showing you, you're breaking down the tape of the game about what your positioning is. Why'd you make this call? Now that you're seeing this at a different angle, did you see what you really thought you saw? And you're like, okay, maybe I was out of position, or looking at your mechanics and the rotations and all that, especially when we transition from a two-man mechanics in basketball to a three-man crew.
Yeah.
And it's always in the same way in volleyball. Now, volleyball officiating, everybody's a little bit more laid back, but um, in the end, we're always all about making sure we're getting the call right.
Yeah.
That's what we always want to do. We're not in it trying to hose another team or whatever. We're out there, especially with the kids, trying to teach them the fairness and playing by the rules of the game, and so, of course, educating the coaches and parents as well. But in the end, across all sports, we're always out there trying to do our best, making sure we're getting the call right.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a great thing, right? I mean, so I've done a few sports myself. Haven't done much baseball, but I did, I've done quite a bit of basketball. Still assigned basketball, and I think there's and at least in Georgia, G, like some of um the basketball officials, like they didn't seem to be as helpful, like
Mhm.
there was a group of guys that I hung with, and they wanted us to improve, wanted me to help me to get better, um but it felt like th- they were kind of threatened, and like, if he gets better, he's going to take my game, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if that culture exists so much in baseball or not, but it feels like in volleyball, it takes so many hours of mastery. And I'm sure it's like that with anything,
Hmm.
with all sports, but you could never, almost you can't ever really catch someone in a volleyball sense, you know what I mean, with plays, you know,
Hmm.
like those seeing back row plays, seeing net plays, positional faults, like if you have a head start on me, it's going to be hard for me to catch you unless you just completely stop, you
Yeah.
know and that experience is what I think differentiates us from being an apprentice to a master level, you know what I
Hmm.
mean, type of official.
Yeah. Well, I know here that's I never had any guys who felt that way around here, but I think part of the reason, especially now, we have so many people moving here and there's so many schools being built. We don't have enough officials. So that fear of so and so is going to take my game or whatever, there's plenty of games out there because there's a lot of assigners. They say, I don't have enough officials to assign all the games I got right now.
Really?
So um, I think I've been fortunate, at least in the area that I've been and the organizations I've been a part of there, I've never had that feeling that somebody's trying to hold me back or not wanting me to improve or get better because they were scared I was going to say maybe take their place on the crew or that match or whatever it is.
Yeah, do you feel the coaches and the fans are any educated any differently in either of those sports? I mean, you think like, well, it seems like volleyball parents know a little bit more, or baseball coaches know a little bit more. You think um, the education level of those parents and coaches are any different?
Um, I think it depends on your area and the age group. Um, Sometimes at the younger age groups, you may not have people who have played at a high level or anything, or may have some misunderstandings about the rules. I mean, because sometimes with Little League, you just have a dad who wants to coach his kid, and they may not have a firm grasp of all the rules or procedures or whatever it is. Um, so they are going to need the officials' help in learning those rules and procedures or whatever it is. Unfortunately, sometimes at the younger ages, there are some people who are new to officiating who are maybe unfamiliar with the sport that they're officiating now. They don't have a firm grasp of all the rules. And so their interpretation of the rules and the coach's interpretations of the rules are vastly different. And so that's sometimes where we get that conflict. So um, I think it's important that if we can, whenever we can, try to have, somebody with a little bit of experience with somebody newer at these groups ages at these younger age groups to help coach the coaches and the parents um, about the rules of the game because there are a lot of times I'll have parents come to me after a match and it's like when you put your hand in the air and you brought it down or you did something he goes, what is that? I've
Right.
never seen anybody make that call.
Right.
He said, I don't know what that is. And so I have to talk to them and explain what it is. And they're like, oh, so that's what that means. Or, I get that all the time. So
Yeah.
you just never know.
Well, you're an educator by profession, right? So, can you share with me how those two professions, vocation and avocation, how they relate to each other and support and help each other, if they do?
Um, yeah, well, for me, they help each other because now I'm at a point where I'm training and mentoring officials. So, being an educator, I'm used to, presenting and sitting in front of a group of people, teaching them how to do things, or maybe breaking down a rule or breaking down, procedure or whatever it is. Um, but it also they kind of help each other with dealing with people. Um, because you really have when you're dealing with people's kids, you're always on that. There's always a fine line that you kind of have to maintain as an educator, because sometimes in the back of your mind, it's like, I really want to cuss this parent out,
Right.
but you can't.
Right.
And even in officiating, sometimes you really want to cuss that coach out, but
Mm.
you have to maintain your professionalism and be the bigger person, and and watch what you say, how you say it, when you say it. And so yeah, it's those little things, man.
Yeah, I I actually asked the question, you know, maybe if we were able to say some of the things we think, about how they're coaching,
Yeah.
maybe it would be, or how they're playing. Maybe it'd be, hey, listen, we haven't called fouls because you're shooting jump shots, right? I mean, they're driving to the hole. It's two separate games, right? I mean,
Hmm.
maybe they're swinging at pitches, and that's why they're hitting the ball. That's why they've scored 12 runs. It doesn't really have anything to do with me, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, and I have to be careful, especially in basketball. The thought
Hmm.
bubble has come out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's not just a thought bubble anymore. It's
Yeah.
made its way to my tongue. You know.
Yeah. There was one time I really kind of had to kind of go off on a coach on the basketball court in front of his bench, because he was riding me, and it was all my fault and everything. And this other team is pressing and doing all this other stuff. They couldn't miss a shot. His kids couldn't do anything right. They're down by 20 or whatever. And he popped off at me one more time. And I was like, all right, coach, you know what? You're being an ass right now, so it's my turn. If you spent more time coaching your kids than talking to me, you might actually be in this game.
All right.
So how about you coach, I ref, and let's see if you can get back. Because if you say one more thing to me, I'm gonna tee you up and put you out of here, because he had already gotten a tee earlier in the game from another official set. So I'm trying to keep you here on the bench. So you say something else to me, it's a wrap.
You're much more patient than I am. I probably would have,
So
and we all have our different
yeah,
levels of tolerance, right?
yeah.
Do you feel you're more verbal, and you talk to coaches and players a little bit more during your officiating experiences?
As I have gotten older, yes. When I was younger, not so much, because it's an art. That's something you have to learn how to do. And so that's something that just doesn't come overnight. That comes after being on a court or a field, hundreds of thousands of times, before you really feel comfortable sometimes in doing those things. And sometimes, and for me, being an educator at the elementary level, dealing with uh, kids, I mean, younger kids, um, it helped me become a more patient person.
Yeah.
Because prior to my being an educator in an elementary classroom, I was not very patient. So, over the years, with my experience and everything, and just being around kids, I've developed a lot more patience and understanding, empathy, um, that maybe I didn't have where when I was you know 21, 22, still in college. you know
Yeah, and patience is it's a valuable trait, I think.
yeah,
In officiating, it's something that I mean, I feel like we need to have a lot of. You
yeah,
know, I'm still I'm still learning that lesson. I think officiating's a big mirror for me. I learned so much more about myself, So I know that's something I'm still learning. Hey, so gee, what's some of the costs? What's some of the things that you feel like you've sacrificed doing three sports and officiating?
Of course, the biggest thing is going to be family time. Um, and so you miss out on some things. But I over the years, excuse me, I've learned to balance and say no, and because depending on the sport you're doing, back when I was younger, hell, I could go out there and referee 2 or 3 basketball games, every night, 7 days a week. You can do that when you're 20 something, but you hit 35, you're like, oh, let me back off, let me ease up on this, because you doing that many games. I mean, there's a time I think I had done, think I it was well over 200 games from November to the end of January. It was some crazy number, like around 200 games. And so by the time baseball season rolled around, I was beat. Like I had no legs whatsoever because I was out there. So um, you just have to build in that time. Is like, okay, I'm only going to do this much, or I'm going to take this weekend off, because a lot of times with these assigners, if they see an open date on your schedule, they're going to hit assign, and then you have to turn it back, and they're like, well, you said you were open.
Right.
I was like, I'm sorry, man, I need a break. I I
Yeah.
need a mental and physical break, so
Yeah.
it's
And
one of those things.
we do need that. We do need that mental break too. Don't you feel? Do you feel that?
Oh, most definitely. There comes there every now and then, during the high school and college season. I might end up working every day of the week, for 2.5 weeks. You get to a point, you know what? I'm tired of looking at volleyball. I need a couple of days off. Maybe I should have said no to this one match, so I can have a day off. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you just have to have that mental break so you don't get burned out.
We're happy to have all those assignments come in right now,
Oh
right? I
yeah.
mean, and then when we're in the throes of the middle of the season, we're like, man, maybe I should have blocked a Wednesday. Or, you know,
Yeah,
I don't even want to work on Sunday. I mean, there's games every single day, right? I mean,
exactly.
if you do high school and college, and I mean, it's just it can be a lot. It can really be a lot. And
Oh
hey,
yeah.
so one of the things you mentioned that I really love is you mentioned mentoring and you're giving back. Tell me a little bit more about that commitment and about that passion for you.
Um, I I know, as an official, our days are numbered, because there's only so long I'm going to be able to do this at a high level, and I need somebody to replace me.
Mm.
So my goal is, especially now that there are a lot more opportunities involved, especially in volleyball, than there were when I first started.
Yeah.
That for some of these younger officials, I'm trying to open up their eyes and say, hey, this is a possibility for you if you put in the work. You've got some talent, but you got to put in a little bit more work, and I'm willing to help you and get you to that next level of where you want to be. But I also want to make sure that our officials are living up and are capable of officiating at the best of their ability at all times, because in the end, it's mostly it's about these kids,
Yeah.
and every single kid on every single court deserves to have officials that are competent, about the game, about the rules, and know what they're doing. The coaches deserve it, and the parents deserve it. So I feel it's just kind of my calling to help officials improve and get better so that we instill that love of the game in these kids, so hopefully some of those kids are going to be our officials
Yeah.
that replace us.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've had mentors. Is there an experience that you can share with us about a coach or someone that kind of uh, was that for you?
Oh yeah, I know in basketball there are a lot of guys, but there's a guy, his name is Glenn Dixon. He um he's a big basketball guy, and he really kind of helped me along when I was first starting in basketball. But when volleyball rolls around, the roles are reversed, and so whenever we get a chance to work, I'm teaching him and telling him about things that he can do to get better. So he's turned. He goes, man, every time I work with you, I learn something better about volleyball and how to improve and do some things. And then I know with baseball, one of my biggest teachers was actually a coach. I mean, there are a lot of really good baseball umpires that I was around, but there was one interaction I had with a coach. Um, his name was Bob Brombach, and he, God rest his soul, he was a great baseball coach. And sometimes in varsity games things get heated, and he kind of popped off and said something to me. And then so I take off my mask and I'm walking towards him, and so I'm yelling back at him. And so we have our little interaction. And so I walk away, and he comes, hey, come here for a second. He goes, look, I'm the coach. It's my job to do what I'm doing. He said, but as an umpire, you've got to be the one with the level head out here. And it hit me some kind of way, because he said, you're a good umpire. He said, but just remember that moving forward. I was like, okay, coach. And so we went on with the game, and I never forgot that. And that really changed how I interacted with coaches,
Hmm.
especially in the baseball field. And so yeah, I will never forget that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's pretty that can rock you a little bit, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. And then here in our North Texas region for USA Volleyball, I mean, I've been blessed with a lot of national, international officials who've really mentored me and answered questions, and like Steve Robb. I mean, love that guy. But when I first came here, he really kind of helped me out. We sat and have conversations, and we still do at these tournaments about different things. And so that really kind of helped me move forward in my officiating career, especially as far as USA volleyball is concerned.
Yeah. It's interesting, that you started so early. Your father got you started, and now you're a teacher, and now you're a mentor, and you're kind of passing the whistle along to so many other people and kids and supporting them. I mean, I think that's just a full circle, kind of moment, man. And it's unbelievable. I think we need to do that more. you know um I believe there's no way that the young kids aren't really officiating, Gerald. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's hard to get them. Do you guys do something in your region to get them? I mean, I know mentoring is important.
Yeah. I Everybody has different programs. Our Texas Association, our TASO for our high school and junior high, we have programs. We're in schools trying to recruit high school kids, trying to get people who are fresh out of the military. There's lots of different ways. I'm always talking to the kids at these tournaments at high school and all that. And so someone's like, "Nah, I don't know if I'm gonna be official because I see how some of these parents act, and I don't know if I'm mature enough to be able to control my tongue or whatever." Or they like, "I know how I am right now as a player. I don't think I'm gonna be a good official." But sometimes when you're walking around at these tournaments, you'll actually see kids just playing a little pickup games. You'll see another kid sitting up on the stand pretending to referee, while they're waiting to play their next match or whatever. So I mean, there's still hope.
Yeah, we got to have it, right?
Yeah.
When you train, I mean, like, are there things that you look for, or what kind of standard do you want to set, and are you asking, for future generation of officials?
For the people, what I'm looking at are for people who are actually asked questions after their match is done, because they're literally showing me that they aren't interested in getting better. Or if I say, "Hey, can I share a couple of things that I noticed that you were doing to maybe make things easier for you?" They say, "Yeah, sure." I'm more than willing to share all the little tidbits of wisdom that were shared with me, because it doesn't do me any good to keep it. And if they say no, okay, not a problem.
Have you had
I
people say no?
Oh yeah, they're like, "No, I'm good." I was like, "Okay, then you're gonna. I see. I know what to do with you for tomorrow's. I know I won't be putting you on my final when I'm in charge, because you're showing me you're not trying to grow. You're not trying to get better." So in this sport, I'm doing this 30 something years. I'm still trying to get better.
Right,
I'm still trying to learn something new.
right.
So if you're not showing me that you're trying to improve or get better, I'm not going to waste my time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just not.
Yeah, it's really tough, right? And I mean, I think being close-minded, that's certainly one of the three things for me that's really important is a willingness, right? I mean, you have to
Mhm.
be willing, got to be growth. You got to have that growth mindset, you
Oh
know.
yes.
What other things can you rattle off maybe one or two other things that you think's really important?
Um, the maturity thing, especially sometimes with some of the younger ones. Uh, showing up on time. You're how you look when you walk in the door. You got on the right uniform. Belt, shoes, and all that other stuff. Just your the way you carry yourself. Because the first impression parents are going to get are going to be you walking in the door. So I've talked to officials about, "Hey man, you might want to not you might want to look in the mirror before you walk out the door, because that shirt's got stains on it or whatever. It's not white. It's like
Yeah.
off white, almost yellow. I mean, maybe it's time to buy a new shirt,
Right, right.
or showing up on time. If you're going to be late or something, let us know. Send a text and an email. Just not showing up at all. I mean, that tells me something about you. It's that responsibility, because we're dependent on you.
Yeah, I mean, those things, they say you only get one chance to make a good first impression, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's really important, I think, for us to kind of hopefully generate a good first impression, right? I
Yeah.
mean, appearance is a lot of what we do.
Mhm.
And I mean, I don't want to fake it till I make it. But something that I believe that's really, and I just want to get your thought process around it is, do you feel like we read and study the rule book and the case book enough as officials from your experience?
Um, I think it depends on what your goal is. I tell people all the time that I'm not going to ask you to do something I'm not willing to do myself, or I don't do myself. So uh, you have to. study in the rule book. And so sometimes when I get some of these newer officials, they'll ask me a question about this. And well, how do you know that? It's in the rule book. Let's look at rule 7, or let's look at this particular rule. And you go, oh man, okay, I didn't know that. And so um, I think for younger officials and they're brand new, there's just those first couple of years, there's just so much being thrown at you. It's hard to kind of read up on the rule book and be as proficient as you are. But if you're starting to really get a love for this and you're thinking, you know what, I'm really liking this. Let me dig into this rule book a little bit more. I want to move up. I want to do more than junior high. I want to do some varsity. I want to do some college. Let me get to this rule book a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, they're willing to do that, but I think there are some others, they're just out there just to get some money, and they're not really proficient in the rule book, and so they they have a hard time because you got people blowing up on them because they screwed up a play or made a bad call based on faulty information or faulty interpretations of the rules because they didn't maybe go to the meeting or read the rule interpretation or look at the case book, or they barely taken the test over the rules in the
Right.
first place. If there's a or it's, and there are some organizations I don't even think they have them take a test about the rules. So
Right. Yeah. There's one big thing, and I don't know if we'll ever solve it, but I really want to do a better job of educating everyone, right? I mean, I think all of the participants, parents, coaches, we as officials, players, I think if we all knew a little bit more about what the rule book said and
yeah, it makes total sense. Sometimes that's why I always have to be cognizant, especially in the fall, uh, the match that I'm doing to make sure I'm applying the correct rule set. Because I might do high school girls one day, I'll have a college women's match the next day, and the next day after that, I might have a boys match who plays USAV rules. So you always kind of think, okay, what rule set am I playing by today to make sure I'm using the right signals, applying the correct rules to the game, because I don't want to blow the call because I'm making a call based on USAV rules, and this is high school federation rules. Like, oh my bad,
yeah.
sorry, replay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it definitely happens, right? I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah.
just it's tough. So that's one of the things that I really want to work on. Hey, so I want to know if you have a message to officials who may be struggling to stay in it. If you have a message to coaches and parents that are maybe making it a little bit harder than it has to be, and one to the game itself.
I'd say for the officials, especially your first couple of years, you want to make sure you really kind of dig into the rule book and pay attention to your mechanics, the basic mechanics of the game. Because if the better you look, the easier it is to kind of smooth things over. You may have gotten the call wrong or misinterpreted, but maybe I have to give them benefit of doubt because you look good doing
Yeah, yeah,
it. So sometimes you get the benefit of the doubt in some of these sports. So it's that confidence. So
mm,
um, because if you know the rules and you have some decent mechanics, that kind of helps build your confidence. Because if you go out there and you are not confident in what you're doing, it shows, and the coaches and parents will eat you alive. Um, so it's working on that confidence, and that confidence comes through preparation. And those first few years are rough. I mean, just like teaching. I mean, most people when they get into teaching, they quit before You
Yeah.
know, they get pretty good at it, and it takes, you know, it takes a good 4 or 5 years to be start really kind of learning the art and science of being a teacher, and people kind of quit right before they start getting good. And I think the
Yeah.
same thing happens um, in officiating.
Interesting.
um, I would say with the for the parents, especially at the younger ages, just cheer for the kids.
Yeah.
There's no need to you know, kind of berate and get on to the officials, because the officials are doing the best they can. They're not going out there intentionally to suck,
Right.
you know.
Right.
um and that's what the coach is for.
Right.
You're paying for your child to be on the team and for this coach to take care of things.
Yeah.
So when you've got these 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 year olds, just cheer for your kid and support your kid. Let the coach worry about the official, because that's their job.
Great message.
And if you see the if you see the coach keeping his cool and getting an explanation, he probably knows something that you don't. You might want to follow that mo.
Yeah.
um, and I think for everybody, I think it doesn't hurt for everybody to kind of just be keep up with the rules. I mean, you can find interpretations of the rules online and everything, and just make sure you get the right rule set. Because I had a parent get onto me as head ref. She said, "Well, the rule says this, this, and this." I was like, "Okay," because she pulled it up on her phone and said, "What rule?" I said, "What year is that rule book you looking at?" And she said, "Oh, this year." I said, "Well, there's a new one that just came out this year. That rule has changed." And she was like, "Oh."
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Mike.
So,
Yeah.
or and of course, being like the coaches, we always tell coach they should know the rule. And I've had an interaction this past season. Well, coach wanted to do something, and I said, "Well, that's not right. You can't do that." She goes, "Well, the other head ref, she told me, she said it's this one." I said, "Oh, you mean this rule right here?" And she goes, "Yeah, it's right here." And I said, "And it's one of those rules that has a part A, a part B, and a part C." Said, "Y'all just read part A, but part B and part C apply to this situation as well." And it's like, "Oh, okay, then never mind."
Right. Right. Yeah. So I know you've been a head ref. There's so much, man, that I want to talk to you about. I know time is getting away, man. Like I said, I mean, this is the first, hopefully, of many discussions and just moments that we have together. So, and I know I'm going to see you soon. I hope, I'm not coming to many, but I hope I get a chance to check you out. I know you got a little bit of traveling left to do, but hopefully we can get together soon, man. I know you always teach me something. So you're my friend, part of my family. So I just appreciate you for spending a few minutes with us tonight.
Yeah, no problem. My pleasure.
Thanks, man. Hey, so before we wrap up, I really appreciate Gerald's time. I know it's something that's very valuable, and I also appreciate your honesty. Um, I appreciate you for mentoring. It's part of what we have to do. And we've got to get back to the game. I know you're giving back to the game, and you're giving back to people and officials, and you're communication, your ability to get along with people, it's critical. And it's what the game is all about, right? It's all about just learning and growing as people. And I hope that's what we continue to do.
Oh yeah, me too.
So thanks, Gerald. I appreciate your time. We'll see you again next time on Black and White Table Talk.
All right, appreciate you. Take it easy.
Thanks, Gerald.
All right,
Bye.
bye.